Hi there. My name's Max. I run a channel called Pathwalker, and this is my first video of this channel where I will be focusing on uh, something in specific that I'm trying to cover. Normally, my channel is me just documenting my daily life in terms of the goals I set and schedule for myself and how I've met them or not, as well as reflections here and there. But this is something I've been meaning to do for a while now, where I just focus specifically on one point that I'm trying to communicate that I believe through my experience and my uh, progress has been definitely paramount to that. My opinion on this could change, but I feel very strongly about this point in particular, as well as a few others. And this is where I'll be starting to talk about that, just starting to put this all out there. So, as the title suggests, this is all about the importance of consistency. This may seem like something that's kind of common sense or something that I'm sure you've heard other people talk about, maybe your parents, teachers, or any role model figure or on movies or whatnot. But I really like to dig down deeper than just the flat message that something says, whether it is messages like, if you're seeking for advice with relationships, people will say, just don't be insecure or just be yourself, or just be confident. Those things, while a lot of them are true, are not by themselves really movers of anything. I personally find that when I first heard the message, just don't be insecure, I started to ask myself, what do you mean exactly by that, right? Or being confident. What do you mean by just be confident? Or how do I become confident? Or what does confidence look like? Same thing with what does insecurity look like? Or security rather. What does that look like? And I just never really found breakdowns for these. And so right now I'm going to be talking about the main thing that this channel or my channel, right, has been all about, which is consistency. I upload videos every single day, without exception. And if I don't upload it because for some reason I messed up, I will obviously upload it the next day to make up for it. Like I'll have 2 videos in a day to cover the day that I missed. Um, Consistency is what has driven this channel so far, right? I'm currently at 75, 76 days into this process, and it's not stopping. And I fundamentally believe, as I've mentioned in many of my videos, that consistency is the number one thing to all of this. Out of any other advice, this is the number one thing that has got me to do what I've done so far, which has already shown results, and that I think could apply to so many other things in life. So, specifically, consistency, I'm not going to pull up the definition right now, but the definition that I use is doing the same, or not necessarily doing the same, but repeatedly doing something towards a goal. That's what I think consistency in this context means. Consistency just means doing the same thing or repeatedly doing or working on something regularly, we'll say. It doesn't have to be daily. It could be weekly. It could be monthly. It obviously depends on what it is. But the truth is that consistency is about the idea of you not stopping what it is that you're doing. A good example of this could simply be that should apply to a lot of people is working out. A lot of people have at some point in their lives tried doing physical exercise. And it looks very different for most people, but I do think on average, the majority of people don't go to the gym regularly. There's a good amount of people that do, but there's a lot of people that don't, but who have at some point, maybe they did some push-ups, in their home, or they did stuff at school, or at some point they went to the gym for maybe like a month or a few weeks or a few months, and then it kind of just fell off course. Consistency is the idea of still going at the gym years later, and you have been going to it, at least once a week, we'll say, or multiple times a week. And that really is a clear demonstration of consistency that I'm sure we can agree is, what the ideal looks like. But some people think, well, that's too hard. And you try to wonder, why did someone stop doing something that they knew was good for them? There's a lot of reasons for that. But the point is that consistency is what leads to results that we want. If I want to end up going to the gym and having a lot of muscles or having a lot more strength so that I'm able to lift a lot more weight or have a lot more muscles or lose a lot more weight, I have an idea of what that looks like. And if I want to get there, that doesn't happen overnight. We all know this. We all know that it takes time and that the results really, you don't notice them right away. You don't notice them every day. You might not even notice them in a week. You might not even notice them in a month. Obviously, at the beginning, they're more noticeable, but then they kind of stagnate. However, if you zoom out and if you suddenly took yourself from 6 months after doing something compared to a year after, so there's that 6 month period, while you moved through that week by week by week, you might not notice something, but I could tell you if you were consistently doing and improving and trying to, lift more weight, eat healthier, do those things, you will see a clear difference in that 1 year mark and that 6 month mark. And that's something that a lot of people don't see. Society these days is a lot more instant gratification oriented. And because of that, people just give up because they're like, oh my God, I tried to work out, I worked so hard, and I don't really see any gains in my biceps or something. And then they're like, well, you know, I'm not enjoying this process. I'm not seeing any results. It's not fun to go to the gym or to do this. I'm not enjoying it. I'd rather just stop this. In general, it kind of is something like that, right? Obviously for working out more specifically, but I'm sure this applies to other things too, whether you're trying to develop a hobby more or learn a language or play an instrument or what have you. There's so many different things that people can work on. And because you're not seeing that immediate reward or demonstration of the work that you put in, you're kind of like, you know what, I'm not really enjoying this that much and I kind of feel like stopping. And that's what ends up happening. But fundamentally, had these people kept on going, regardless of how they felt, they would end up seeing results, right? And it's about pushing through. Now, that said, it sounds a little bit like just do it or just get a house, just, or just just be rich, just make money or something. It really isn't that. I think the most important thing when it comes to consistency and actually, getting that consistency is picking your battles right. And this also seems like some common sense, but I just feel like so many people don't do this. I mean, try to think for your life and anything that you've ever started in your life and why it fell off course, or any of your friends or anyone you know, right? I feel like so many things that people start never end up coming to fruition because they give up on it, because they stop being consistent with it. Obviously, it's a good idea to have a plan going through something, so if someone doesn't have a plan about what they're doing and whatever. But the key I find is trying to find that sweet spot where it's not that painful for you to do that. And you need to pick the right thing, right? For instance, if working out, just because I feel like working out is it's not that I'm trying to promote working out. I mean, it's good. You're healthier if you generally work out. But I just feel it's very simple to carry across my message here. If you end up thinking, you look research and you say, oh my God, the most efficient way for me to gain muscle is by doing a bench press, back squat, deadlift, doing all these multi-compound exercises at this repetition, at this weight and everything. And then you try it, you do a hard session and you're like, oh my God, that was really hard. If maybe one time you do it, then you do it again, and then you're like, oh my God, like this is really tough stuff for me. Like I don't know, it's a lot of weight, it's a lot of energy, it's not that fun for me. Then you're like, man, you start thinking to yourself when you planned, okay, well Tuesday I was going to go to the gym. It comes Tuesday and you're like, I don't really want to do this, right? And why? Because the task that you set before yourself is too high on the uncomfortability or difficulty scale, right? You need to find tasks that you can do easily, right? Or when I say, I don't know if easily is the right word, but something that doesn't give you too much resistance. For instance, working out, I've done certain things, and I found that right now what I'm doing is, I'm not going to give specifics to what I'm doing because I don't want to give, my regimen might not work for you, but I started to do this thing where, I have the shoulder type of exercises that I do, and I do it every other day, and it takes me about 15 minutes to do it, and it's not that long, right? I'm working out, I'm doing something. The workout could be more effective if I did it differently. 100%. But had it been harder, I might not be doing it every other day. I might be doing it once a week, and then at one point just saying, screw it, I don't want to do this, right? Because it's actually manageable for me in terms of its difficulty, that's what's allowing me to be able to actually keep on doing it. Uploading my videos every day. Some people might think, oh my God, how are you able to do that? Honestly, it's not that hard. I set out my goal of how my video structure is. I basically do it near the end of my day. I hit record and I just start talking. I got my system set up. It takes up to 10 to 20 minutes overall because the recording process maybe could take up to 15 minutes, and then I kind of, do the uploading on YouTube. That whole process is not difficult. I like I like the process, right? I like talking about my day, about reflecting about things, about what's going on, and I'm able to do it. So it really isn't that difficult, and I think that's the key to all of this, and that's the key for you to find things that in your life you want to work on, you want to improve. Try to find the right thing and the right intensity of that thing. This is extremely important stuff. I mean, I think what I'm saying right now is so important, really. Like, find the right thing. Find it so that it's something that, first of all, you like what the kind of far milestones will look like, right? That you have an idea, you have a conceptualization, you have an idea of what it's going to look like in the future, and you like what that's going to look like. So you're like, okay, this is a worthy ideal, this is a worthy goal, and then think about the process of how you're going to be working on that. Think about how hard it's going to be, and put the intensity at the right level. A problem that I notice, that I think with myself and that I think will apply to a lot of other people, is that we tend to kind of, when we start something, we have this rush of motivation for it. We suddenly get this massive boost of like, I really want to do this thing, right? I'm really excited, I'm pumped, and you put in a lot of effort all at once. Sure, a lot of people know this already, but for those who don't, that doesn't last, right? You're not going to be that extra super productive, oh my God, I just spent 5 hours on this new project, on writing this book, on doing this thing. That's not going to last. And a lot of people will be like demotivated from that. They're going to be like, oh my God, I was feeling so good, but now I'm not really feeling it that much. Now I'm only spending so much little time. You know what? This just isn't for me. When it very well could have been for you. You had that initial interest, you had that motivation, but you didn't keep on doing it because you had that excitement. And then because we're human, we can't go at 110%, constantly. There needs to be some relaxed period. And it's for that reason that I would highly recommend, when you do find the thing that you want to work on, to really identify something smaller to start with. Even though you might feel like you have a lot more energy to work more than 30 minutes or an hour, I would really limit it to that. Obviously, it depends on what it is, but don't go crazy all at once, even though you have the energy. Control that energy and show yourself that, I could do this. Because it's unfortunate, this video has been, 13 minutes long, 14 minutes long so far, and I haven't made this point, but the whole point of consistency is that gradual, tiny amounts of effort over time end up being a massive mountain of effort that you put into something, right? That's the thing when it comes to working out, but that's what it comes with consistency. You need to be able to have that ability to keep doing that small amount that is manageable, that you don't go, oh my God, I have to do this again. No, you think, okay, let's do it. Let's do our usual task. It's not going to be too long. It's not going to be too difficult, but it's still some effort. And you do that, and over time, however frequency, whether it's daily, every 2 days, every 3 days, every week, whatever, in a year, if you kept doing that, you've built up a body of work that commands respect from anybody because you did it. And that's what consistency is all about. And that's what the power of consistency is. You don't notice it right away. You might feel good. You might feel, oh, I did this. The one thing about consistency is you might think, oh, after a month of doing this thing consistently, I start feeling good. And that's good. It's good to, feel that way. But the point about consistency is that it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop. And that's why you need to find that right ground. Obviously, it could adjust depending on how your life changes. Usually, I would think as you gradually get more used and comfortable with doing something regularly, you could increase the workload that you're doing from that point. But if something happened in your life, if something negative happened, or personal, family, whatever happened, accordingly, make it even lower sometimes. It's a dynamic thing. I don't recommend always doing the exact same amount of workload for 10 years, you know. But this is the message that I want to give to everybody, right? You have an insane power when it comes to using consistency to achieve things that you can't conceive of realistically, because it's not right in front of you. It's not something that you're going to see immediately. You're not going to get that immediate sense of results, right, of what you did. But um, in a year or in multiple years, you will have insane success. And what I tell you is just trust the process. I mean, the logic is there. It's pretty straightforward. The logic is there. If you keep on just delivering time and time and time again and spending that time, you're going to get that book done, right? If you spend 30 minutes every day writing a book, you're going to get that book written at some point, right? And it's going to be like, okay, I put in the work, I did it. And so, you know, this instant gratification world that we live in really makes it like it's so hard for people to just like spend a lot of time at something. And it's for that reason that try to really control that amount of time that you're spending on it each day, or whatever frequency when you are doing a session on that. Really focus on that sweet spot. You got to do a little bit of trial and error. You might not get it right the first time. Maybe 30 minutes is too much. Maybe you need 20 minutes. Try to experiment. And it doesn't have to be necessarily that fixed, but it's definitely a feeling out process. So with that said, I thought I was going to be doing like a diagram to explain things, but this is my passion. This is what I'm all about. I believe every word that I just said. This is what I'm trying to communicate, right? Consistency. It is a massive tool that should be completely regarded by everyone. And if you want to achieve anything, I really think that you need it. Whatever it is in life that you want to do, believe in this aspect, this skill almost of being consistent. So again, pick the right thing and pick the right intensity. Okay? You can do it. I've already demonstrated results, and there's only more to come, because this whole channel is about what's my life going to look like in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years from now, right? And that's what this whole process is about. So I wish you the best of luck. Use this skill. If you really take my message seriously, I can't help but think that it will pay off more than you can imagine. So let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if if you agree, disagree with something that I said. Let me know if seen this video and then you come back, to see it, and you've seen some results. Let me know. I'm really happy anytime my message can help someone. So, um, you know, please give it a shot. Let me know what you think if you want. And I seriously wish you the best of luck. I want all of you to be winners in your lives and reaching your goals and your milestones, whatever you want to, achieve in life. And, all the best to you. Okay. Good luck. Be consistent.